defeated the Roman army, killing Emperor Valens and shattering the illusion of Roman invincibility. The defeat exposed the empire's inability to effectively manage the growing threat along its borders. Chapter 3. The Sack of Rome. The early 5th century saw the Germanic tribes push deeper into Roman territory. Among the most significant events was the sack of Rome in 410 CE by the Visigoths under Alaric. Once allies of the empire, the Visigoths turned against Rome after years of mistreatment and unfulfilled promises. Alaric's forces entered Rome almost unopposed, looting the city but sparing much of its population. While the material damage was limited, the psychological impact was immense. Rome, the Eternal City, had fallen to foreign invaders for the first time in nearly 800 years. The event symbolized the empire's vulnerability and decline. Chapter 4. The Vandals and the Fall of Africa. The Vandals, another Germanic tribe, crossed into North Africa in the 5th century, seizing Rome's most valuable provinces. Led by King Gaiseric, they established a kingdom centered in Carthage, from which they launched devastating raids across the Mediterranean. In 455 CE, the Vandals sacked Rome, this time with greater destruction. The term vandalism originates from this event, reflecting the widespread looting and desecration associated with their invasion. By controlling North Africa, the Vandals dealt a severe blow to Rome's economy, cutting off a crucial source of grain and weakening the empire's ability to sustain itself. Chapter 5. The Collapse of the Western Empire. By the mid-5th century, the Western Roman Empire was a shadow of its former self. The Germanic tribes continued to chip away at its territories, establishing their own kingdoms within former Roman provinces. The Franks took control of Gaul, with their leader Clovis uniting the tribes and laying the foundations for modern France. The Ostrogoths, under Theodoric the Great, ruled Italy after defeating Odoacer, the last Roman king of Italy. The Visigoths established a kingdom in Hispania, blending Roman and Germanic traditions. In 476 CE, the Western Roman Empire officially fell when the Germanic chieftain Odoacer deposed the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus. Odoacer declared himself king of Italy, signaling the end of Roman imperial rule in the West. Chapter 6. The Role of the Huns. While the Germanic tribes were pivotal in Rome's collapse, their movements were often driven by external forces. The Huns, a nomadic people from Central Asia, swept into Europe in the 4th and 5th centuries, displacing many Germanic tribes. Fleeing the Huns, groups like the Visigoths, Ostrogoths, and Vandals moved into Roman territories, seeking refuge and opportunities. The Huns, led by Attila, further weakened the Roman Empire with devastating invasions. Though Attila was defeated at the Battle of the Catalaunian Plains in 451 CE by a coalition of Romans and Visigoths, the chaos he unleashed contributed to Rome's inability to recover. Chapter 7. The Transformation of Europe. The fall of the Western Roman Empire did not mark the end of Roman influence. The Germanic tribes adopted many aspects of Roman culture, including its laws, language, and religion. Christianity, once a minority faith in the empire, became the unifying force of medieval Europe, embraced by Germanic leaders like Clovis of the Franks. Chapter 6. The Role of the Huns. While the Germanic tribes were pivotal in Rome's collapse, their movements were often driven by external forces. The Huns, a nomadic people from Central Asia, swept into Europe in the 4th and 5th centuries, displacing many Germanic tribes. Fleeing the Huns, groups like the Visigoths, Ostrogoths, and Vandals moved into Roman territories, seeking refuge and opportunities. The Huns, led by Attila, further weakened the Roman Empire with devastating invasions. Though Attila was defeated at the Battle of the Catalaunian Plains in 451 CE by a coalition of Romans and Visigoths, the chaos he unleashed contributed to Rome's inability to recover. Chapter 7. The Transformation of Europe. The fall of the Western Roman Empire did not mark the end of Roman influence. The Germanic tribes adopted many aspects of Roman culture, including its laws, language, and religion. Christianity, once a minority faith in the empire, became the unifying force of medieval Europe, embraced by Germanic leaders like Clovis of the Franks. The fusion of Roman and Germanic traditions created a new European identity. The Eastern Roman Empire, centered in Constantinople, continued to thrive for nearly 1,000 years as the Byzantine Empire, preserving and transmitting Roman culture to future generations. Epilogue: Lessons from the Fall. The fall of the Western Roman Empire was not a single event but a process driven by both internal decay and external pressure. The Germanic tribes, once seen as Rome's greatest adversaries, became the inheritors of its legacy. Their integration into Roman lands and adoption of its traditions ensured that Rome's influence would endure long after its political collapse. The Roman-Germanic Wars highlight the fragility of even the mightiest empires and the inevitability of change. They remind us that the end of one era often marks the beginning of another, a testament to the resilience and adaptability of human societies. Would you like a deeper dive into any specific battle, tribe, or cultural aspect of this narrative? Let me know. Banda NOI. Teep. ChatGPT da NOI. ChatGPT. Chapter 8. The Legacy of the Roman-Germanic Conflict. The fall of the Western Roman Empire and the rise of Germanic kingdoms were not simply a tale of destruction but one of transformation. The Roman-Germanic Wars left behind a legacy that defined the cultural, political, and social structure of medieval Europe. The adoption of Roman culture. Despite their role in Rome's fall, the Germanic tribes absorbed and preserved much of its culture. Roman law became the foundation for governance in many Germanic kingdoms, with leaders like Clovis of the Franks codifying Roman practices into their rule. Latin, though transformed, survived as the lingua franca of Europe, evolving into the Romance languages. Roman architectural techniques, such as stone masonry and road construction, were adopted by the Germanic rulers. Cities like Paris, Vienna, and Cologne, originally Roman settlements, became key centers of power in the medieval period. Christianity as a unifying force. One of the most profound legacies of Rome was the spread of Christianity. The Germanic tribes embraced the faith, with leaders like Clovis converting to Christianity to strengthen their political alliances with the Roman Church. This partnership between Germanic kings and the Church laid the groundwork for the Holy Roman Empire and the spread of Christian culture across Europe. Chapter 9. The Holy Roman Empire. By the 9th century, the legacy of the Roman-Germanic conflict culminated in the rise of the Holy Roman Empire under Charlemagne. A Frankish king of Germanic descent, Charlemagne sought to revive the glory of Rome while maintaining the warrior traditions of his ancestors. Charlemagne's vision. Crowned emperor of the Romans in 800 CE by Pope Leo III, Charlemagne ruled a vast empire that spanned much of Western Europe. His administration blended Roman legal structures with Germanic tribal customs, creating a new political system that endured for centuries.